Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome back to the Auditor's Book Corner. I know it's been a while since I've updated on this channel. I really haven't intended to be away for so long, but making audiobooks is hard, and I've also had concerns with, copyright stuff, so that's been an issue. But today I have two short stories I would like to share with you. This video is likely only going to be a few minutes long, just they are very short stories that I've actually written. So I've experimented with creative writing for quite a bit of my life. However, most of my projects with it were pretty much instantly scrapped by me or not very good. So this will be my first time actively putting out my work into the public. So today we have two short stories that I have written that I would like to share. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into the first one. This is called The Beginning. Before everything, there was nothing. When asked to think of a void, most people imagine an infinite expanse of white or a place so dark that not even a million stars could penetrate its depths. In the void before everything, there was truly naught. No white, no black, not even infinity existed yet. It was without shape or time, without colour or size. But even nothing has to be something, as the concepts of nothing are something. That something was the two first ones. They had no names, nor shapes, or being. All that was yet to come. But they were there. Beings of nothing that had to be something, indescribable in nature. They didn't exist. They were not something. They were nothing. It just happens that nothing is something, even in a place of pure non-existence. Time didn't move forward because there was no time. Yet everything is inevitable. And so came the nothing where the first ones thought of something. It wasn't a coherent thought made of words or sounds. It was simply a thought. And so everything happened. In the first second of everything, for time was now a thing, it was very bright. Light had manifested, and in many ways so had everything else. And from this came three new somethings. Life made from the birth of everything, death made from the end of nothing, and chaos made from the discord of sudden everything. For a single fraction of a second there was peace. The new beings made not of flesh or of particles but the concepts that they represented. In many ways nothing more than an idea, surrounding the small shape of light that was everything. Then all that ever was and ever will be exploded, an infinite amount of everything spreading out across nothing and making it something. Until, inevitably, in the everything, the particles began to collide. They say chaos was the one to notice it happen. It did not see, for it had no eyes, but it still noticed. Another explosion, not as large or creative as the one that had just happened, but still an explosion, the first of its kind. This detonation created a new form of everything, a different type of existence expanding infinitely into the everything. Even though words had not been invented yet, the thing that would one day be called a universe had come into being. Many more universes followed, and as the first hour of existence ended, the everything was a web of explosive collisions, each one birthing a new existence. So yeah, that was the beginning. So basically the everything is kind of like the multiverse where all my stories will be set. So basically if I write a story, it takes place in the everything. So this is like an introduction to the everything. That's where everything that happens is. My second story today is called No Sound. It's my first attempt at a horror story. She heard nothing. The woods were silent. No owl hooted, nor did any fox shriek. The wind battered against her, whipping her hair into a frenzy, yet it made not a sound as it cascaded through the trees. The rain pounding the ground all around her, and the thunderous clouds up above, should be creating a cacophony of noise, but even as she watched the droplets fall, she heard not a sound. She wanted to escape, to turn about and run home to the noise of cars and the words of people. But she dared not turn around, because for every one of her silent footfalls, as she hiked up the trail, the only sounds were footsteps echoing through the trees behind her. When she stopped, they stopped. When she stepped, they stepped. When she ran, they ran. And when she stopped, gulping noiselessly for air, the forest behind her fell silent too. The trail carried on upwards, and the footsteps continued in the muted woods. perfectly in rhythm with hers. The heart in her chest pounded through her body and into her ears, as her legs grew heavy and her arms drooped. As she slowed, the footsteps slowed into a steady pace, never getting closer, but in turn never falling behind. A perfect shadow of unknown origin, whom she now knew was only behind her because it did not yet wish to catch her. It wasn't a predator, it didn't want to eat her. If it did, it could have many times over. No, it was playing with her. She stumbled onwards, each step behind her sending jolts through her system as a pool of frozen terror collected in the darkest pit in her stomach. Her limbs tensed as her mind failed and every muscle screamed in union to flee. If she could run fast enough, if she could make some distance. A river, a cave, a walker, an angel. Something had to save her. Something had to make this all go away. She ran and tripped and struggled and scrambled. A desperate soundless cry escaped her lips. Anything for freedom from this. Her food, her water, her money. They could have all of it if they just stopped. But they didn't. Those hateful footsteps running up the path behind her. They loosed no stones, tripped on no roots. They didn't struggle or scramble, they just ran. The pool of panic spilled up, and as it spread through her blood, it turned hot, spreading into her legs and arms as she once again fell to the ground, her hands grabbing handfuls of rocks and mud, hurling them over her shoulder. Her legs kicked behind her, daring the thing to come into range. Then she rose, turning left off the path and charging into the trees, grabbing branches and whipping them in her wake. The rage fueling her mad gallop into the wild. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, but time meant nothing to her. All the time she knew was how long it would take until her body failed. Her legs hit a fallen log, lying between two great oak trees, and she felt the bone crack. She fell, slamming into the muddy ground, the smell of earth filling her nostrils as she lay motionless. The adrenaline that had fueled her was gone. Her limbs shook, but try she might, she could not convince them to move. The chase was over, the line had ended, and for once the footsteps to her back didn't stop. So yeah, those were the two first stories that I've written. And yeah, I've really enjoyed writing these. I'm definitely interested to see what happens next. I know they're not perfect and they need improvements, but to be honest, that's what writing is all about, getting better at writing. So yeah, I've really enjoyed writing these, and I hope you enjoy them. So, thank you, my wonderful viewers, for tuning in to the Auditor's Book Corner. It has been wonderful having you, and we will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, and good night.